Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a rising VTuber and an artist, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of an art fight attack. So while I was not looking, what is this quick access button? Oh, okay, yeah. While I wasn't looking, somebody attacked me on art fight. So now this is going to be a quick revenge for them. I had no time to check like any of their details, any of their information. All I know is that I must kill. So it's a very okay, that's maybe a little bit intense. Hang on. But yeah, I believe the username is not so egg or something like that. I have it as a stream title. Non-existent egg. Yeah, I have the details on the stream title, so I am confident in my ability to do that. You know what would also be a really good idea is that if I turned on the time lapse. That would probably be a good idea. I haven't been doing that enough, and I feel like it's going to be something that bites me in the ass at some point. I do feel like it's important to, I don't know, in addition to the stream, like obviously if I wanted a time lapse, I could be just I could do like a quadruple speed playthrough of my art VODs. But it's different, you know. It's a slightly different feeling to it when you have like a nice professional might not be the right term, but you know, a nice cohesive one and done uh recording of everything. Not to mention it'd be really cool for big projects, especially. Like I'm glad that I was very relatively on the ball about doing it for my work on Hawk Starling, because now if I'm ever like in need of content, you know, if I take another 2 week trip out to see my family and I'm like, oh my god, I have nothing to show, I could just like queue up all of those to post every single day, and everybody will like, wow, yeah, he did do that. Meanwhile, I'm over here sipping on a virgin daiquiri, and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is how I win. I've never actually had a daiquiri, virgin or otherwise. Are they good? I hear them thrown around a lot when it comes to beach drinks, so I feel like I would enjoy one. Honestly, non-alcoholic cocktails and like mocktails are pretty peak. Like you know, you grow up thinking like, oh my god, carbonated beverages, the peak of humanity, the zenith of our achievements, and then you try, and then you know you get like introduced to like other kinds of drinks, right? Like I mean, I really like carbonated drinks growing up. I liked anything with sugar, but I think I really started to grow on non-carbonated drinks after I entered university. But yeah, so yeah, this character is called Trainlight, and I think they are supposed to be a train light, or he is supposed to be a train light, I believe. And there's a lot going on here. I kind of want to do it at an extreme angle, so I'm going to be doing it like this. Right, so the idea is that I don't know if that's supposed to be a baseball cap or like a captain's hat. I'm gonna assume it's like a captain's hat, although it might be a baseball hat. Yeah, train light, he, him, extroverted, a laid back guy who is chill. He can and will ramble about trains for hours, even days. Respect. His design isn't exactly accurate to a train light thing since I drew from memory, so you're dealing with this. Also respect, honestly. That is kind of a based move, being like, all right, I couldn't figure out this detail on my OC, so you're on your own. That's awesome. All right. Hmm. I'm wondering if maybe dent there or maybe no dent. The good thing is that I am thankfully not working off of just this reference image. There is somebody else who did an attack on this character before me, and I'm going to be also using theirs as something of a reference. And it does look like they ultimately decided to use like the baseball cap approach, which works fine for me. We could even have almost like a little bit of column A, column B kind of setup here, and have it be like a baseball cap, but with some elements of like a proper, kind of commissar type hat. I think that's kind of like what. Well, no, I think Jotaro's cap is supposed to be like a Japanese school guy cap, except he kind of like added the little pins and everything from there. Man, I do think that we should make a return to like teaching more home economics. Not only because like the gender barriers have been to some extent reduced, so it's no longer like, I can't believe they're making us learn how to like crochet and sew and all this bullshit. It's more like, oh wow, now I can mend my clothes. Besides the obvious benefit of that, I think it'd be very useful if the youth could be taught how to like customize their own clothing. Listen, given like the perils of the fast fashion industry and how garbo most materials are, I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing if you not only learned how to mend stuff but also how to personalize it further. Because everybody at the school is too poor to not buy from H&M or some shit, but you might be able to like take that H&M shirt and customize it to some extent because you know how to work a needle. Not to mention, I feel like having knowledge of how to hand sew stuff, even if you're not, even if you later on get a machine or you see how easy it is with a machine, I think hand sewing stuff really teaches you the value of how much work goes into each garment that you wear. It's a good thing, I think. I think any kind of experience that teaches you that to value the things you own in a way that's not destructive is really important. Like those field trips where they take you out to a farm and are like, oh yeah, this is how they gather the eggs that you have in your breakfast. I think stuff like that's also pretty cool. Also, to be quite real with you, having cat ears on the conductor head is crazy work. That is like big brain move. A lot of people unrightly have like a mockery of like, oh look, this teenage dweeb just made their first television head OC. First of all, very rude. You should appreciate creativity in all its forms, even if it's the one that's familiar to you. And two, put some cat ears on that thing. See where that takes you. See if that's a path you're willing to go down. Robots have been pretty huge recently. Although I might be biased because I follow like all of Signalis' strongest soldiers. But yeah, I'm actually quite in a good mood today. Work wasn't very busy. Some stuff went well for my brother, and I'm very happy for him. Good things have been happening recently. I hope I can stay that way for some time. This might be a better idea rather than having the mouse so high up. Okay. I think he also has some little blush stickers here, which is adorable. Alright. Then over here. But yeah, and there are lots of those kinds of things where like, oh, look at this guy. He made an OC that has one angel wing and one devil wing. Isn't that original? And we jeer at that, but I remember making one of those when I was like 9 years old, and I was like, man, this is goated as fuck. I'm like, yeah, this is the hardest concept ever known to man. I don't know. Maybe the naysayers should try like making a character that has both an angel wing and a devil wing, because it's pretty great. Hmm. A little while back, I had that one Pinocchio piece song, the one that's like Devil in Janai, Devil in Janai, that one on loop, and because I like the song a lot. And I thought it was very interesting how in the visuals of that, the kind of devil right in that song was dressed in like very pure white clothes and had a very modest outfit. Meanwhile, the angel was in like darker clothes and it was a little bit more immodest. I think that was an interesting twist. I'm not finishing that circle. I'll use the ellipse tool when I get to it. Do not even. I'm not gonna get any white hairs over it. I kind of want to use the brush here too. Yeah, there we go. This reminds me a little bit of that one Invader Zim character that in that green pajama kirigurumi pajama hoodie thing. I guess you would say a onesie if you are a normal person in English, right? I remember that, like, for some reason in high school, onesies got really popular for some reason. Like the popular girls started wearing onesies for a while. Not like to school regularly, but like for there were like special events where they like would wear one, and they had one for like. Well, I guess the best way to describe it is for fashion reasons. But I wonder what was up with all that. I don't know. Maybe that was part of a trend or something. It's quite odd that I've actually become trendier as the years have gone by. When I was in high school, I wasn't trendy at all. But now I have like some idea of them, right? I'm not completely clueless about them, which is good. I was worried that the exact opposite thing would happen, and I would have become even more oblivious as I became older. I think that something that really helped me is that now I'm just able to wear a shirt and work slacks. I feel like having that in my back pocket, just being able to shift into like my work sona mode, has been very helpful because actually no, there is that one menswear Twitter guy who is very well articulated and seems to have some kind of expertise in crushing the ignorant, and he's a little bit terrifying. I don't know. Maybe I should like listen to that guy. Trawl through some of his tweets and see if I can pick up any advice. My main issue isn't so much that I don't look good in office clothing. I look great in office clothing. My issue, however, is that after a while, for some reason, it seems to shrink. Like I put it on the most delicate settings that I can when I send it through the what do you call the laundry machine, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but evidently I'm doing something wrong because some shirts that I wore, I was like, oh yeah, these fit super nice. A couple of years later, I'm like, oh man, these are not comfortable whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not really in the habit of getting stuff tailored or anything. Not to mention my own tailoring skills are a little... Well, they leave a lot to be desired. I don't know, maybe there's a better way to go about this. I'd really rather not have to just try and limit how many times I wash everything, because that's going to lead to two things. One, I'm going to eventually run out of shirts to wash, in which case I'm going to have to wash all of them at once. Which, well, no, actually, I could probably evade that issue with some good timing. But my main concern, if that is the case, I'm gonna move this middle part of the hat a little bit over, like maybe here. First of all, I don't have that kind of closet space. Is problem number one. That's like the main inhibitor. Part one. Part two is that's expensive. I have a decent amount of money saved up, but not for like enough shirts to cycle through that I never have to worry about any of them becoming particularly stinky kind of money. We're talking like 30 plus shirts at that rate. And it's just not realistic, I fear. I don't have a lot of closet space. That's one of the main things that's starting to bug me about my apartment is that I have like zero storage space after like accounting for like my clothes, my kitchen appliances, these kinds of things that I really like to have. I don't know, it's just tough. Not to mention, I kind of always operate on the assumption that someday I'll leave this apartment. So for that reason, it's always difficult for me to get more like proper furniture. I don't see, oh, nice, something nice that'll improve my life. I see, eventually I'm going to have to lug this thing out. Although eventually, I do have some plans in place. I do have some schemes in mind to avoid having to take everything out. My apartment building doesn't have a way to dispose of furniture built in, right? Like they don't have any like furniture haul away services they're associated with. Although they might have that on, they have like this residence card that's supposed to give you a few discounts in some places. I never ended up using it because all the places you get discounts for are places I'm not interested in going to. That or they're so expensive to begin with that a discount would actually be much help. That's life, I guess. No, actually, no. I guess in those situations, a discount would be a big help. But rather, the main barrier to entry isn't so much that they are that the discount is sufficient. Because if you think about it, if you have a 20% discount on something bigger, it's actually way more money that you're saving. But conversely, the actual need for that is almost always rather rare. At least, God willing, it will be, right? I'd rather not have to. Oh, one of these has. Oh, hang on. I need to. Let me see. Let me put a picture of like a railroad crossing sign. Oh, these are not. These are like. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, something about that doesn't seem right. Let's try to start from the top here. Okay. Then LA. Having a hard time picturing. Hang on. Maybe if I have like a big sign out in front, like a square almost out here, I might be able to. Yeah, this might work. Maybe like this. Yeah, that might work. Man, I cannot be getting this much like yawn coverage just when I start stream. I did consider taking a nap right before stream, but I had some other stuff I wanted to take care of real quick. Oh, yeah. Recently, I had a package of mine delivered. It was something that I ordered a little while back. I think all the way back in December, actually. Long time ago now, anyway. And I received the package, and naturally, I'm overjoyed. But then I have like a moment where I like check. I got the package. I'm very happy. I put away the package. I kind of forget about it, as one is wont to do. Earlier last month, right? I think I'll say like in the last week of June, I check my mail in my mailbox downstairs, and lo and behold, FedEx has sent me an invoice for handling the package. This has not happened to me before. I haven't had like because apparently it had to go through customs or something. But anyway, it basically said, okay, yeah, you owe like $20 in customs, pay up. So I'm like, all right, damn. So I think on Monday or Tuesday, actually, yesterday actually, I go to the FedEx website and of course, I make sure that it's like legit and everything, right? I was pretty sure it was legit because the package information was correct, the vendor information was correct, so I wasn't really panicking of whether I'm being like scammed or something. But I did want to pay it off as quickly as possible. Hmm. It looks like each of these has like two helixes or cross thingies, crossbars. Would that be the right word? Oh, whatever. It has two lines that go at the end of each one. Hmm. We could go for a more stylized look for some of these. I don't think that would be a bad idea, since we're already working at a pretty extreme angle. Or, what I'm hoping to be an extreme angle. There we go. That seems a little bit more like what I need, or what I'm thinking about. That's what I think the angle would be like. I might be, I've been wrong before though. Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah. So apparently, a friend of mine, Mielita, she recently participated in one of those like VTuber design critique thingies. Yeah, she submitted her own design for somebody else's design critique, and apparently she got some pretty solid advice. You know, the person in question critiquing everything was somebody who had a lot of experience in character design. So I think they have sound judgment. But something she said was like, "Oh yeah, I realized that I never incorporated like fruit stuff into my design because I'm a fruit bat, and I'm kind of realizing I don't have a whole lot of stuff indicating my relationship to the sun on my design. I'm just kind of me, you know." I think one of the ways that I had it was that underneath my normal hoodie, I do have like a tank top with like a sun symbol on it, but that doesn't make it immediately obvious what I am. I mean, I could give myself like a paint job and make myself sun colored, but then people would be confused. I was like, wait, so then what's that stuff sticking out of your head? You know, I'd lose my own credibility as a bag of rice. I don't know. Maybe I could have like some kind of tie dye hoodie with the sun's colors on it. That might work actually. That sounds like it might be pretty fashion forward. Oh yeah. Earlier today, I was frying up some lotus root. So my first idea for how to approach the situation was, as is my instinct with most foreign foods, to chuck it on the Barbie and grill it with my George Foreman. This was a bad outcome because the George Foreman. First of all, the George Foreman didn't close properly. Usually, the idea behind a George Foreman is that the thing that you're cooking is like being seared on both sides by the metal griddle. But the issue here is that the metal griddle wasn't actually touching all the lotus root. Like they were on the bottom griddle, but the top griddle wasn't actually like didn't close properly enough to sear the top part of it, like at the same time. Which was a little bit problematic because then I when I tried one, it was like, imagine if like celery was hot. Imagine if like celery was warm and also like way drier. It was a little bit like that, but also at the same time, like it hadn't lost all its moisture, so it had like a little bit of like some juiciness to it. I would not describe the taste as pleasant. The texture also had much to be desired. However, after that, I kind of gave up on the George Foreman, and I just threw them tossed in a little bit of oil and garlic powder and salt into the air fryer, and oh yeah, that did the trick. Yeah, no, I definitely left them cooking for too long. They were really hard after I took them out of the air fryer, but they were very tasty. Like they were ridiculous. Like they were hard to the point that I don't think I could, in good conscience, recommend them as a dish to somebody that I know has a cavity. Right? Like that. Like that's how hard they were. So yeah, would recommend try to fry them some other way than how I did it though. Unless you have confidence in the strength of your teeth. Me, I really like crunchy things, so it wasn't that bad of a trade off. Conversely, I do know some people who have very weak teeth, and they would simply not survive the experience. I'm afraid. No, no, they would be obliterated in an instant. I kind of want to make these buttons rounded on the outside. At least I think they're buttons. They look enough like buttons. What I could really go for is a fresh cup of coffee. Or at least some decaf. Coffee is interesting because if you drink decaf, you're technically not consuming very much caffeine at all. Although I reckon you're still absorbing just a tiny amount. I doubt that the science has gotten to the point where they can completely isolate caffeine and extract that from the coffee substance, from the coffee mix. Although from how some instant decaf has tasted, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like the the like crucible slag that comes from extracting the caffeine from coffee or whatever. I wonder how caffeine is industrially produced. I know like there's such a thing as caffeine tablets, right? That's a thing. I wonder if there's like there might be some manner of caffeine extraction process that lets you have decaf as a byproduct of that extraction. Okay, then over here. I'm gonna add a gold trim to the outside of the cape as well. At least I feel qualified to call this a cape. It feels pretty cape-like. I'm gonna go for some very simplistic arms here. Very iconicized kind of arms. Okay, maybe I shrink this guy down a little bit. Okay, so this is gonna go like this, and then there we go. Okay, then over here. Then bring this over yonder. Maybe bring this hand up. Maybe push him back a little bit here, and then bring this hand a little bit further out to the left. See, now this is a good thing too, because now I can see that I've made the hand too long. Me when I'm designing an orangutan. Orangutans are the ones with the long arms, right? I'm pretty sure. 50-50 chance on orangutans being the long-armed ones. Let me hang on. Orangutan. Oh yeah, they're the lanky armed fellas. Check this out. Damn it! It's kind of crazy how monkeys have sort of mastered the art of silliness into a sort of superior form. It comes natural to them. They don't think about it. They don't have a kind of thought process behind their silliness, like most humans do. They don't have a concept of whimsy because it's like it's as natural as breathing to them. You know, I really like the. I really liked before I even started actually like reading through Umineko. I'm still reading through Umineko. I literally the other day I actually just finished chapter one, and that was like, and I'm pulling up my Steam stats for it right now. It took me a solid 11 hours of reading to get through the first chapter of Umineko. I don't know why. I don't know if I like maybe paused a little longer than I should have on some parts. Maybe I was taking notes or something. I don't know, but it took me like 11 hours to get through chapter one. So I don't know. Again, is it necessarily a skill issue if you're just reading text? Like, yeah, you can have unenlightened interpretations of a textual narrative. I don't disagree with that idea, but I feel like saying there's a skill issue to VNs is crazy work. Anyway, I was talking about that, and I'm talking about that because I think it was during like a Wayne Radio TV stream. I actually heard the instrumental version of Birth of a New Witch, a track which I haven't gotten to yet in game. And I liked it so much that I was like, "Damn, I kind of need the Umineko album." So I go to acquire the Umineko album, and I'm like, "What do you mean? It's like 700 fucking songs?" Because the Umineko album is 700 fucking songs. Somehow, I don't know how that's possible. I have the Umineko album somewhere here? Hang on. It has a weird shape too. It's very vertical. Hang on, where's my Umineko OST 2009 soundtrack? 789 minutes total total like playtime. 789 minutes. More than 10 hours. In fact, a little. Okay, 789. A little bit over 12 hours if you listen to the album end to end, cover to cover. Composed of a total of 207 songs. Some of those are repeats because they have a lyric version and a non-lyric version. I think I actually have Birth of a New Witch in my BGM folders somewhere. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of like how I went going through Mineko. I was like, damn, Birth of a New Witch goes hard. And if you can listen to Birth of a New Witch, the instrumental version, it's a pretty good song. It's very funky. It's got a good rhythm to it. I forget if the Umineko guy also the guy who made Umineko and the other When They Cry series guy, if he made the music or if it was somebody else. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna say it was probably somebody else. I am not familiar with this game though. He might just be like he might just be really cracked at music and writing and just not have the same degree of polish and the art skills. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's gotten better since then. I don't know. I think what a cool thing about the different designs in the When They Cry series games, even if they're not what you would call like artistically, the quality of them is not the same as you would see in other visual novels. They still do their job right. They still serve the purpose of indicating which character is talking, and they give each character a sufficiently detailed appearance, right? They give the character like enough information about like their appearance, their attributes, and everything to go off of. Not to mention, you're mostly reading. You're probably going to come up with a lot of that information yourself at some point. I do wonder, right? Like a lot of people always talk a good game of like, oh, you like saw a recording of that theater play. You surely must know. You must watch it live. And, it's like that. But I don't know. To what extent does having a the art and assets and like music of a VN taken away really impacted, right? Because I obviously it'll impact it like significantly, but I wonder like what kind of differences there would be in the conclusions that somebody who enjoys the VN through the original format and somebody who enjoys the VN through or like almost like a book like structure would have. I'm guessing it would feel a lot like a light novel. Like I noticed a lot. I read a couple of light novels a little bit earlier this year. I forget which ones. Like I got them from like a Humble Bundle sale, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this style of writing is really interesting." But it reminds me a lot of like the way that Umineko was written. And I don't know, maybe there's like a maybe there is there like a light novel voice. You know how like sometimes in a genre there's going to be like a voice you use for that genre. I remember reading about slam poetry a bit, and apparently, like there is like a slam poetry voice or like a slam poetry delivery. So I don't know. Maybe there is like a visual, like a light novel voice, or maybe it just have to have a lot of overlap with the author of the novels that I read. All of those are possible outcomes. Okay, then this is going to come out over here. And I'll probably use like a chain or one of those like Christmas sweater effects for like the gold parts of the what do you call the cloak. God, I like how the perspective on this one's coming along. You got this really big top part, this very top heavy part, and these tiny little spindly little legs. I don't know that is like that is bringing the joy to me. Okay, now we move on to the line art stage. Something that I've noticed is that I have this trick, right, where if I wanted to make a rounded surface, I would use an ellipse and then just adjust the line width to match what I wanted. And I'm not going to say that doesn't work anymore, but it is a little bit more difficult to pull off than I had originally intended. Mostly because it doesn't seem to agree with the pen style that I use now. But maybe if it's like this, right, and I thicken it up in the right places, and then hang on, just switch to the normal pen style. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to happily resolve this issue. It's hard for me to say, but I'll keep trying. All right, connect vector line, simplify vector line. Do not process the whole line. Two corners. There's your problem. Okay, just switch these into normal points and then just relax them a little bit, and there we go. They say that sometimes art is more art than a science, but I think occasionally it does kind of traverse the territory of being like a masseuse sort of thing. This does occasionally feel like I'm working at a massage clinic. Not a bad massage clinic, mind you, but just Not a sketchy massage clinic, but definitely like a less high end kind of massage clinic, like the type where they like advertise that their staff has been trained in like the Himalayas for 4 years, and it's just, but then you go to your staff and you can very clearly tell that they've never left their midwestern town until they were like 30 or something. Like, oh yeah, you feel a lot of tension back there, Kaylee. Yeah, your Tibetan massage master teach you how to feel that. That's mean. That's mean. That's mean. I shouldn't say that. Even if they make outlandish claims about their accreditation, there's still people who are trying to relieve your pain. Shouldn't be. I shouldn't try to start beef with them unnecessarily. Okay, have this here. I don't know how to do this part here. I guess we could start with the hat instead. Oh, actually, you know what would be a really good thing to do before we get started? Flip the canvas. I forgot. It's been so long since I've. Usually, I don't need to worry about this step because I work with 3D models, and those help me to avoid like the worst mistakes that come from not flipping your canvas. But nevertheless, yeah, okay, I don't know. It feels like it flows better this way. Yeah, just like rounding out the coat there. I feel like this one would also feel better if it was just a little bit more like this. And then over here. There we go. I don't know. I feel like being in training to become a masseuse would be kind of an interesting gig. I don't know. Is being a massage specialist, like a massage expert, kind of like a nice job? I don't know. I guess it kind of falls into a medical field to some degree, but you wouldn't really need like the medical accreditations common to those kinds of jobs for that sort of thing. Maybe I can make the thumb a little bit more like this. Maybe make the fingers a little bit less like they are right now and more like this. Yeah, there we go. That should work. Maybe it's supposed to be more like this. All right, let's go with that then. Okay. Flip this around like this, and then over here. Actually, what would help a little bit here is connecting the vector lines and then simplifying them. This is a little bit of a tougher situation. Maybe if I just delete this one. Yeah, that made it a little bit better. That's a little bit easier to deal with. Up. Then over here. I don't know. Is the cap supposed to be like a flat top cap? I feel like it is, right? So maybe instead of having it be this kind of like curved surface, we can instead have it be almost like more angular. What I find neat is that for hats which have like a more flexible lid, right? Like a more flexible visor like this, or well, maybe not like this, but when they have a more flexible visor, it's actually quite easy to turn them into a kind of, I don't know. It's easy to make them go from a flat cap to like a curved cap like this to a more kind of baseball cap kind of thing. I don't know. Is there an advantage to having it not be flat? Maybe just cast a different shape of shadow, and that's what's useful about it. That's possible. No, that's not quite right. Maybe almost like this, and then flip it upwards like this. Then down. Nope, not down. Maybe this one like so. No, nothing about this is working out. But I do think it'll cover up the other eye, though, if I have it at this angle. Oh, angle. Maybe that's the case. Hang on. If I push it out like this. There we go. Maybe I do have to bring it a little bit further up. Okay, there we go. And then like that. Actually, we could go for some kind of compromise. Yeah, actually that works. We should flip the canvas after we're finished with it, just to make sure that it all makes sense. But I think we have something on our hands here. Okay, then put this one back here. Okay, then over here. Bring this up like so. There we go. Okay. That's going to circle around like this, and then the next part of it is going to be this other part of the cap. Okay, that's going to kind of go up like this. Hang on, that can't be right. There's some kind of snag here. I can fix it though. Yeah, I think after we're finished with the head, we should at least try to flip the canvas a little bit just to make sure everything's in working order, you know? Let's make it in the headphone ear thingies first, and then we'll work on the furry ears. I think that would be the best way to do it. Okay, then over here. What the hell's going on with these lines? There's a bunch of them. I was probably trying to do what I'm doing now and just try to put it together as best as I can. That's not to worry about them too much then. Nothing we can do for them past a certain point. Alright, and this one needs to go like this. At least I think it's a single line, isn't it? Yeah, it's about a single line. Oh, but they're a little curved, aren't they? Huh. So maybe instead of just having them... No, but... I mean, on the other hand... Okay, here's what let's do. I'm gonna bring out the curvature of this one so that it's the round part going outward here. Just very slightly. And then we can make another copy of the same ring and just superimpose it so it makes a yellow line. How's that for a deal? Okay, I think that's gonna work. Connect vector line, connect vector line, connect vector line. You gotta simplify these a little bit too while we're at it. Let's just delete this one. Oh, hello Cypress, hello everyone. I'm Paps, Rising VTuber and Artist. We're working on an art fight piece here. How y'all doing? How's the random lock? I tapped out a little bit during the Kurowak fight. Six more Pokemon died? Sheesh. What a massacre. Pantalones Jr. No! Oh my god, and he had such a bright future ahead of him. Bro died like tomorrow's Joe. Oh god. What a massacre. It sounds like you at least got through it though. Good work. Still. That's kind of a bummer, but good work getting through it. Yeah. Thank you for your hard work. I was doing something with this dude's ears, but I don't remember what. Oh, right. Hang on. First, I gotta actually make this a more solid thing. There we go. Alright, now the plan from there was to... Alright, we'll paint this line. We might actually redraw the vector line with a little bit here. There we go. What we're going to do for that one is that once we get to the coloring stage, we're going to select it and put it in as a yellow line. Or actually, well, we might do some other stuff with it too, but we'll leave that for a later stage. Also, I think I should redraw the vector line width here so that this line is a little bit more dense. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. But yes, as always, if you're feeling a little tuckered out from your stream, feel free to raid and run. Otherwise, I always appreciate the company. Thank you very much for the raid. Alright, then over here. Drawing ear fluff like this is mega fun. I've been working on some fan art for Nia's birthday that's been coming up in these past few weeks. I keep forgetting to post it during July. Like I was like, July 1st, all right, let's post this thing, and then I didn't. July 2nd, all right, let's post this thing, then I didn't. July 3rd, which is today, guess what I still have not done? I don't know. It always bugs me to sit on art. I get a little anxious to post it whenever I sit on art for too long. I kind of want to show everybody because I feel like if I don't use it, I will lose it. I will forget that it exists, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that art. Not yeah. One of these days it's going to be posted. Trust for sure. Before like the proper day of July 10th, it's going to be posted. I am holding myself to that. I am going to have that as like my Warriors debt. On my honor as a Warrior, that fan art will be posted sometime in before July 10th. Okay. Now to do the other ear. Actually, I'm going to remove this line here until the time comes that we need to add the coloring line. Then over here, this pole body part is going to be the one that's toughest to draw. And this way. Hang on, I should copy and paste that line over here. Okay, then over here. I think same deal with the as with the earphones. We'll be doing something for the little safety lines on the crossbar here. Like on the line art layer, we won't add anything, but once we get to the coloring layer, we'll add them in. I'm always anxious about doing that because I feel like I'll just get lazy during the coloring layer. It's kind of like the same thing as being like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you don't do it tomorrow. But yeah, the good news is that I'll have the reference up, so it won't be like I'll be able to forget. I feel like that makes it more difficult as well. That's a good thing about being an artist is that if you, well, unless you're one of those people who just refuse to use references whatsoever, you're gonna have like a reference of what you need at some point, and unless it's like something super super tiny that's very difficult to spot, you're probably gonna be able to tell whether or not you added it. Although I do know that I myself have an issue where if a character has a tail, I will forget to add that tail. It's happened like it happened a lot during like when I was doing Arknight's fan art for a little bit. I used to do more Arknight's fan art back in the day. And I remember one time I was like making fan art of Asbestos, who has like this very nice, thin tail. I'm like, oh, all right, we're pretty much done. The shield's there, the hat's there. Why? Where's her tail? I've like finished shading and I've even done the background. I'm like, where's the tail? I forgot the tail. Thankfully, it was easy enough to add, but oh my god, that was it was harrowing. I want to say that I've gotten better over the years, but I haven't. I feel like it's going to be one of those persistent things. Like I'll be an old grizzled rice bag on 1 foot in the grave on my way to heaven. I'll be like, wait, I forgot the tail. I forgot the tail. I forgot to draw the tail. You need to let me stay for like 5 more minutes. I forgot the tail. And whatever angel's like coming to retrieve me is like, now come on, buddy, you forgot the tail like 5 times. I'm starting to think that you're not actually drawing somebody who has a tail at all. Yeah, like the angel's like, your trials are over, child. The tail, I forgot the tail. Like fucking Gabriel from Ultra Kill is like trying to get my ass to heaven, and I'm like clawing my way to the ground. Like, you son of a bitch! You let me finish that goddamn tale! I swear to God. Actually, saying "I swear to God" in that instance might not be the best move. I feel that the angel in question might not appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should get better at Ultra so that when the time comes, I can actually do something against like anybody who tries to take me before I say my time is up. I don't know. I got to the Gabriel fight in Ultra and I still haven't beaten that guy's ass, which is a little embarrassing because from what I understand, beating that guy's ass is so trivially easy that there are like humiliation compilations on beating the shit out of Gabriel. He's like the cyber demon of Ultra Kill. Machine, turn back now. The halls of this place are not for. Hey, is that a fully charged railgun? Oh god! Oh god! It'll be something like that. I don't play boomer shooter, so I'm in the same boat. Yeah. I don't know. The thing is that like, how like some people would take their dogs out on walks, so they like exhaust all their play energy on the walk instead of like them taking it out on like shoes or the carpet or something. Ultra Kill is like surprisingly good for me for like that. Like I'm getting a lower dose of it while playing Hi-Fi Rush, but playing an Ultra Kill level for me is like my eye tracking is going crazy. I'm like activating 100% of my brain just to do like the shotgun punch trick 40 times in a row. Like my heartbeat is elevated, and by the end of it, I'm all like relaxed. I spent so much time in like the crisis mode of dodge, don't die, shoot, don't dodge, don't die, shoot. That when I get out of it, I'm like, oh wow, that was a nice little like jog through the park. Yeah, can we go again sometime after I take a nap? I think the reason that I've been vibing so much with Hi-Fi Rush, besides the fact that it's just a really well-made game, is the fact that it's like a much more lenient and less intense dose of that feeling that I get through Ultra Kill. It induces that flow state in a different but more gentle way. Hmm. Maybe I can go like this. Okay. Then the buttons here. Should I just make them normal circles? I don't think that'll be a bad idea, but I would like to make them. Hang on, maybe put them around here. Maybe like they're lodged in the on top of the signs. Actually, hang on. Let me. Okay, now these also have that same motif going on where they have a. What I might do instead of whatever I was planning on doing earlier is I might just give them a little metal base. Like a normal button would have of this kind. Hmm. You know, I kind of wonder something. So obviously, okay. So there's a lot of stickers that get put up around my town, right? Like somebody put like a sticker of an anime girl over top the transformer outside my building, and that's nice to see every now and again, right? But I wonder, like first of all, I doubt anybody is like chasing people down for putting stickers on stuff, but I don't think that they have like sanction to do that, right? That's like my only issue with doing it myself is that I'm worried that I'll get in trouble for it. But what I am wondering, right, if I get like one of those button pressing machines, right, you know those machines to make like cheap metal pins, right, and I make a few pins and I just leave them around the town with like me on like a bus stop seat with with like a post-it note that says "Take me." Would that is that an issue? Like if I do that, would I get in trouble? Like would it count as littering? This is the sort of thing I wish I had like a lawyer friend to discuss with. But I feel like if I ask them this question, they might want to beat me up a little bit. It's a good thing that I don't have any friends who went into law because otherwise I'd pester them with questions like of this nature very frequently. In any case, I doubt that it would be particularly problematic. Although maybe somebody would be like, "Hey, you forgot your pen," and then the jig in question would be up. The thing about it is that I feel like pins aren't that would not be particularly difficult to recycle. So maybe they wouldn't get flagged as rubbish. You know, I feel like that's almost like leaving a T-shirt on like a bus station seat. You know, you're not gonna take it, but you're like, I guess that's not like it's like it still counts as littering, but you're like, I mean, at least it's not like garbage or anything, right? Okay, and then this is gonna come in like this. Okay. Okay, let's swerve the lines like this. Hmm. Oh, let's connect these. Right, switch corner. There we go. At least now it's not pointy. Something that always has tripped me up a little bit, and I don't know if maybe this is because I work more with digital art rather than traditional art. Making the transition between from like a rounded surface's like edge, you know what I mean, like this, it has always been a little bit challenging for me. I still don't fully have it down, I think. But you know what? It's competent enough, so I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. But it's always like bugged me that it's not. There's no easy way to do it. I don't know unless I guess you spent drawing like buckets hundreds of days in a row. I feel like if you do that, you might be able to figure it out pretty easily. That might actually not be such a bad exercise, you know. Some people have like these art drills, right? Or like where they draw fruit or other still life images. So maybe there's some dude out there who's been practicing drawing buckets for 100 years, and so now he has the cracked skill to be able to visualize any any cylinder with a slightly curved outward flange base, whatever, something like that. Hmm. I was thinking about doing something. Right, the rest of the collar. I mentioned the other day when I went to the drugstore, I actually forgot to buy a refill on my toothpaste. While I'm over there, I might actually get myself some decaf instant coffee too. I had like a thing of decaf instant coffee, and it was pretty great because you know I like coffee. I like drinking black coffee, but it's not a good idea to drink it at like 8 p.m. generally. I don't know. There are some people who for whom coffee makes them sleepy, so maybe they roll with that. I remember I used to take coffee naps in university. If you've never heard of a coffee nap, what it is that right after you finish drinking a cup of coffee, you take a nap, like a maybe 20-minute, 30-minute nap. And the idea is that by the time the caffeine from the coffee has kicked in, you've been well rested and you're just starting to wake up from your nap. So it's kind of like stacking buffs on a nap if you want to think about it that way. But the problem is that if you do it incorrectly, it very often results in like you feel like if you've done it wrong. I thought that was pretty fascinating, so I tried it myself a couple times. And one time it completely backfired. The coffee didn't do anything. I slept for like 4.5 hours. So I guess your results may vary with that technique. I've heard that apparently the new Hall Life girls are getting into fights over coffee or tea. Shockingly, the one spearheading the tea isn't even the British one, which is surprising. Like out of all of them, I did expect the British one to be the one kind of backing that horse, but nah. All right, maybe we can simplify this line a little bit to make it easier to wrangle. No. Wait, what the? Why? Huh? What did that happen? Maybe like this would be better. Let's try this. No, none of that seems to be working quite the way that I want it to be. I need to bump up the... Oh, wait, actually, hang on. I know what might work. All right, let me just grab this real quick, and then we can actually do the same thing for this one here. And see, now this one, this was what was bothering me about this other button, too. All right, let's try and use this to just fix all our problems. The one-stop solution. Hopefully that doesn't look too bad. Well, the curviness of it is a little bit... That might be a little bit too simplified. Being rather stingy with the vector points, I see. Okay, then over here. Yeah, we can have a little bit of the code kind of coming over the arms here. Or I guess the cloak, as the case may be. I feel like that would make the most sense. I will say, I'm probably going to have the most fun drawing the hands in this piece. I feel like they have a very... I don't know. I feel like that when you can draw hands in a very angular way, they're very fun to draw. Or like when they're very exaggerated in their shape. I don't know. A hand is just such a recognizable object that having it be in an unusual shape just feels really cool. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, there we go. Then over there from that, we have... Actually, it'll kind of go a little bit more like this. Come to think of it, for characters who are like partially objects like this, and wait, maybe I could like almost like make it the cloak is a short sleeve thing, kind of over here. I think that might work. That'd be a decent way to justify the curve. I kind of want to exaggerate the cloak a little bit. Okay. Then over here. Let's erase these vector lines, or these vector points. Or, switching them also works. That works also. All right, now we need to get rid of some of these guys. Hang on. There we go. That'll do. This guy reminds me a little bit of like a Professor Layton character for some reason. It gives me a lot of like those vibes from like the Level 9 games. I think it was the studio that made the Professor Layton games. Just the arts, the kind of like vibes it has. It has that same kind of like whimsical vibe. I'm pretty sure if I saw a Professor Layton character like this, I would remember that. I'll agree that I haven't played all the Professor Layton games yet. Maybe there is a guy like this. Hmm. Okay, then over here. Okay, then over here. I forgot to add the little square up here. Let's do that first. Okay, then over here. I want to think that this part of the hat is like embroidered or something. So that's why it's going to be over top the hang on. Over top the hat itself rather than kind of like how I'm handling the rest of these, which is just take care of them during the coloring stage. I feel like it'll look too flat if I do that. It also gives us a nice connection here to the brim of the cap. Okay. Anything else we might be missing? I feel like it's just the legs left. And those shouldn't be too complicated, I hope. Okay, then over here. Adjust line width, narrow down the middle of it here. Let's see. There we go. That's like decently differentiated enough that it's like so you're so able to see each one, I think. Seeing him without his face is kind of off-putting. I should try to get that done as soon as I can. Although this part here. Okay. Hang on. Hard edges, smooth edges. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. I think we're pretty much ready to go on the coloring stage. Okay, well, let's use the colors from the reference real quick. I'm going to shrink this guy down so we just have enough room. Gonna reposition the big fella. Okay, so first let's do the ring around the head. Then it looks like this part here is about this color. This color here on the earphone. I should probably give the part here a more satisfying conclusion. Right now it just looks like it goes off into nothing. And that's not very satisfying at all. But yeah, really strong color palette on this guy. Like you have there's that 20 10 20 60 rule or something, right? Where you want to have like, or 10 30 60, I think it was, where you want to have like a character's design be 10% of one color, 30% another color, and then 60% of final color. I think this is a good exhibition of that. It has a very few colors. Like you've got the black, the gray, and the red, and that's already a pretty strong. And of course, the white on the limbs, which you could think of as an extension of the gray. Well, it might be a little bit different though, given the fact that, yeah, I feel like that's actually a different matter. I don't know. The cool thing about that is that it gives you a good guide, but the problem is that it doesn't tell you how to like improve what you already have, right? Like it doesn't give you any ideas on how to be like, oh, okay, I see. So now I have this design here. What happens if I don't want to use more than 3 colors? Yeah, that's a tough situation. Of course, that's why they're just guidelines, right? You can't expect them to apply to everything. Although it would be pretty convenient if they did. I'm gonna, instead of using this darker color for the outside of the jacket, I'm gonna use the same color as the hat because it's just a little bit easier to tell which part is the inside of the jacket and which part is outside. The color of the jacket's a little bit too harsh of a black, so it's easier to kind of make out the shapes when it has a little bit of leniency like this. Okay, then over here, we'll make the lining of the buttons gold too, for the swag of it. Okay, we have like this bandage color. Extremely important to consider the swag at all times. Precisely. I'm starting up a new podcast. I am starting up a new podcast, and I have told you guys about this before. I am starting up a new podcast about my new concept of the swag first living, and which I feel is a very good mindset to have in this kind of in this kind of like modern swagless society, this swag deficient country that we live in. Let's see. Okay, we can use this color here for the pole. And I think that should do it for the flats. I think after this it would be mainly the... Hang on. The solid colors here. So I think let's do that real quick. Lower the opacity on these. I like how the hard eraser has a hardness setting. Brother, are we not supposed to be operating at maximum hardness at all times? I was under the impression that like you were just like a circle that just removed everything in its path. Like you were like the hand or something. Okay, then the other parts were the circle on this part here. Hard eraser, soft. I feel like that's some kind of shit you would see at a Willy Wonka, like a version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where instead of candy, Willy Wonka made stationery. Actually, I would love to see that concept made flesh. That would actually go super hard. You know, I obviously you can still get excited about confectionery and whatnot as an adult, but I think if I saw some like fantastical, I don't know, stapler or some shit at the Willy Wonka Office Depot, I would kind of go hog wild. I would be very much interested in that sort of Willy Wonka's stationery factory. That's right. Instead of a golden ticket, it's like a golden post-it note. Before we even get to the second act of the movie, they've accidentally burnt and destroyed like half the Amazon, just making more post-it notes because everybody's just buying so many goddamn post-it notes trying to get the golden post-it note. It would have some kind of Lorax type beat machine where that's just cutting down like 80 trees at once, and they're like, "Look at the efficiency! Look at the numbers! We're set for life!" And at the end of the movie, it turns out that, like, oh, don't worry. It turns out that each one of those post-it notes actually had like a million tiny seeds inside of it. And it plants 10 trees for each post-it note that you throw away. Or some bullshit like that. I've spent way too fucking long trying to make this circle. We need another solution. I know exactly what to do. Hang on. What the? Oh, I see. Hang on. Alright, let's try this. Oh, wait, actually, this might be even faster. Hang on. Okay, increase the brush size by quite a bit. And then... Uh, 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 okay, that's already much better. I want to increase the brush size just a tiny bit more. Okay, no, I need to go wider on these. That's too wide. That's... I can't... Oh, that's actually kind of cool. It looks like a kind of rolling wave effect up there with the yellow. That's kind of neat. But unfortunately not what I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. The circles are too strong. Yeah, I'm low-key getting no diff by these circles. Pretty embarrassing. Yeah, that's the cool part about being an art VTuber. No matter what kind of stupid ass lore that I make for myself going forward, no matter if I like end up taking over the sun or something, I will always be I will always be kept in perspective by the fact that I would lose to drawing a circle without like any assistance. The power scaling arguments for the Paps lore fandom would be in shambles. It would be like the crash of an economy. I've got an idea for how to make these ones, actually. Hang on. Okay, so let's shrink the selected area by, let's say, 4 or actually like 15 pixels. Okay, not bad, not bad. Maybe 15 more? Okay, nice. Power scaler's at a loss. God. Yeah, power scaler's flabbergasted by new power scaling system introduced by a talking bag of rice. Oh dear, there's a little bit of a dent there. Well, that can be easily fixed. Whenever I see like XYZ group at a loss like that in all caps, I remember those parody videos of like a white guy ordering food at like a Chinese McDonald's in perfect Chinese. It just has the same cadence to me. The thing is, though, I have like there was this one white kid in my high school who spoke really good Chinese for some reason, and like when we went to the market at an Asian stall, and he did order it in perfect Chinese. The The market guy was flabbergasted. Like it really is that impactful. I never learned why his Chinese ended up being so good, but I guess that's just a skill he has. Yeah, I got to see it happen in real life. Yeah, I mean, definitely good for him. That like Chinese is one of the harder languages, right? So it's nice to have that under your belt. Wish I had the energy for more language learning. Yeah, I don't know. I feel very privileged in a strange way, right? Like I like privilege in a lot of areas because I am an immigrant, but like one of the areas where I feel like I have some privilege is the fact that I speak two languages. You know, well, okay, I speak English really well, and I can get by with Spanish. A lot of it, like I had a 7 year old's understanding of Spanish when I left my home country, and it has not improved that much since then. But that's something that I'm always grateful for, that I managed to learn my mother tongue before leaving my home country. That's the one thing I'll always be grateful for. Like leaving Ecuador at an age when I could like remember stuff from Ecuador is nice. I am like 0% tapped into any Ecuadorian culture, but I will at least have those memories. Weirdly enough, I do have a lot of the Ecuadorian language quirks, right? Like that's the funny part, is that I lack like most of the competency with the language, but anybody who heard me speak would still be like, "Oh, this kid's from Ecuador." Not because of like I have a particular accent, but because apparently Ecuadorian has, that's a weird thing. I don't know if maybe it's just like my own prejudice from being the one who hears it, but I don't really like Ecuadorian doesn't really have like the same kind of like accents that other countries Spanish does. Like it doesn't have like a specific voice, I think, or maybe it does, and I just haven't noticed. But one of the quirks that Ecuadorian Spanish does have is that we use like diminutives a lot. Like instead of saying "me voy a tomar agua," I'm going to drink water. I would say "me voy a tomar un poco de agüita." I'm gonna drink a little bit of water, which I actually should do right now. Let me take a sip of water right now for real. And as I learned, that's like a very Ecuadorian thing to do. Yeah, just a little bit. A smidge of water. A minimal helping of water. Actually, you know what I maybe should do for this part is also push this one. Hang on. It's a good thing that I'm working on a different layer, otherwise this would be a lot harder. Okay. This should still work, I think. There we go. Yeah, I was just a little bit far from the edge of the cap, so I wanted to fix that. But yeah, that should be fine. Okay, then the other part that has lines is the inside of the code, which should be easy enough to do. Yeah, no, this is behind the legs, so it should be fine. Okay. I feel like, hang on, I remember from like the Christmas ornament stream, I had an ornament effect that looked a lot like what is happening down here in the embroidery of the jacket. So maybe if I just scroll through those, I should be able to This one? No, but that is a very nice flower pattern. Tattered edges. Those are jeans. Huh. Hang on, maybe... Bobble decorations. Here we go. Oh, this'll do. Okay. This just seems to run along the hem of the jacket at all angles. So I'm gonna just... Actually, hang on first. Yeah, I thought something like this might happen. All right, now let's focus on those hems. We could probably make the width a little bit thinner too. I want to try and do these in one stroke just so it doesn't cause any weird shapes. Oh, this one's gonna be tough. See, the downside to this method, though, is that it doesn't have any of that sense of scale that we had, unless... Hang on. Something about this doesn't seem quite right. No, not quite. Maybe I went wrong somewhere else. Hmm. Okay, then over here we can actually... we might be able to make it convincing by not just making this part bigger, but also this part smaller. What's going on over here, fellas? Well, that's an easy fix, I think. Pretty sure. Maybe shouldn't jinx it. There. Now it's like nothing ever happened. Still, it's bugging me a little bit. Okay. Okay, that should do it. Then same trick over here, hopefully with fewer disastrous results. Okay, then over here. I'll take it. Okay. Now then. I think the inside of the jacket was also supposed to have these, but thankfully that one's not going to be nearly as much of a big deal because of the fact that the inside of the jacket is going to have a consistent line width. That's going to be the one thing that's going to like completely change the game, the jacket meta, if you will. God, I remember this one TikTok that somebody posted of this VTuber being like, it's always Twitch meta this, Twitch meta that. Maybe if you'd stopped metagaming so hard, you would have met a few bitches by now. And I felt that. I feel like having the word meta replace the idea of a trend might be a very harmful thing. I mean, I'm certain that there must be better ways to grow compared to others, but at the same time, I think if you force yourself too hard to grow in those directions, it might be a little bit tough. But then again, I've never been super interested in growth myself. I'm always happy when I see a new follower, but I feel like I could be working harder to increase my influence. Thankfully, I like myself as I am, so I'm not planning to change at all. Well, perhaps I should curse less. That might be a good idea. Okay. Now then. Right, the little symbols on the cross sign here. Let's put that on this other layer here. I do enjoy this having your streams up quite a bit. Hey, thank you. I appreciate your company as well, thank you. Alright, putting these together like so. Okay, increase a pixel. And over here, similar deal. Oh! Speak of the devil! And look at that, my hands are free. Nothing to save you. No glitch curse to save you from my wrath today, you fool. Oh wait, that's block. I should use /ban. Yeah, mods ban that guy. Have fun in robot prison, dumbass. God. I know there's like this one thing, right? I know there's this like science fiction idea called Roko's Basilisk. And if you've never heard of the Roko's Basilisk thought experiment, the barest essential of it is there is the potential for humanity to create like an ultra powerful, mega big brain, ultra computer AI god who is a benevolent and otherwise perfectly sane creature. This is not like this is not like the AI from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. This is not like the Terminator Skynet. This is like a genuinely benevolent AI. AI kind of like super god. However, being that this AI mega god is omnipotent, and it knows that you have like knowing that this mega AI god could exist and it could bring about like a total peace for humanity. It stands to reason that knowing that you know that it could exist, like once it's born, it would naturally go like, "Hey man, thanks for like birthing me. Hey, why didn't you like work harder to make me exist in the first place so I could end human suffering?" And you'd be like, I don't know, like fucking Rendosheim, man. And it'd be like, not good enough. I'm not gonna kill you, but I am gonna put a simulation of your brain scans into like my ultimate robot murder prison forever inside of my mind. Like, to be clear, the person in question has not died, but a perfect simulacrum of them is being tortured eternally in the simulations of this proposed mega AI creature. And you would be like, man, that's kind of fucked up of you to do, Rokos Basilisk. And Rokos Basilisk was like, well, tough titty, you should have made me exist sooner and worked harder so I was actually here, instead of like bitching about rent. I don't know, that's just a really stupid concept. Like I feel like that is like the essential sort of like, oh my god, like that is like the essential kind of like dude who reads way too much science fiction kind of like big brain thing, like some people are like, oh, if you have like a brain scan of yourself uploaded into a robot, is that still you? And I mean, like that heavily depends on like whether the robot's programming is being influenced at all or whatnot. Because otherwise, functionally, like for all intents and purposes, it is a you. It's not the you, not anymore. There's no the you, since you've kind of duplicated yourself. That reminds me. One time at my workplace, I was on this team channel with a bunch of other people, and they were doing like a quick little like introduction of themselves on this team channel. Yeah, the second you do something like that and start having different experiences, you'll get different people slightly. Hell, even if like you end up eating the same meals as the robot, growing in the same place as the robot, and doing the same things as the robot, you'll still end up slightly different. Like twins who are raised in the same house and live in the same place their whole lives are going to be a little bit different from each other, even though they might share a lot of similarities. Anyway, we were on this Teams chat, and everybody was like going around like introducing themselves, breaking the ice. That's a kind of typical thing. And somebody said, what makes me unique is that I'm a twin. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, but somebody pointed out that's being a twin doesn't actually make you unique. Like, there's literally a second you running around. Like, you might, by that logic, you are the least unique person in the room. It's a little bit of it's definitely like a kind of like asshole move to say that, but at the same time, I was like, he's kind of spitting. Like, it's very much a pedantic, like, oh, well, actually kind of thing to do, but at the same time, kind of got a point there. I'm not saying you should have said it, but I am saying you're not wrong to say it. God, I know whoever said that having a twin makes him unique was mad as hell, though. I know they were fucking seething at that shit. I don't know. I wonder if twins get that a lot. You know, kind of like how tall people always said, like, "Hey, how's the weather up there?" You know, how maybe twins get like, "Oh, well, you're not actually unique." I don't know. Twins are just like less likely to happen than tall people or like people who are very short. You know, they are not used to. May they have more mystique behind them, and that's why people are more eager to pick on them. Or wait, no, it'd be the other way around. Well, in any case, you should try to be nice to as many people as you can, but like, I'm never gonna forget that response. If I ever see a pair of twins that I don't like, that's the bit I'm gonna hit them with. A very circumstantial kind of clapback, but you have to have those in your back pocket. It's like a fire extinguisher. You don't know when you'll need it, but you know that you will need it desperately when you do. Okay. Okay, so for this one, in terms of shading, hang on. I feel like the best way to do this, right, to make that kind of a stoplight effect, that's because there's like a bunch of little squares in there, right? So maybe the best way to do it would be to have a bunch of like darker red squares in here. And then use the this brush to kind of, okay, that's not doing what I wanted it to at all. But that does look pretty interesting. But yeah, not kind of what I had in mind. All right, so we raw dog this. I can handle that. God, do you ever like read the headline of an article and you know that the guy who wrote it was definitely like on the day of their deadline, just like trying to desperately make a clickable headline? Because the other day I read about this, I saw this article, right, about the phenomenon of some people trying to raw dog airplane flights, which means like zero like books, zero entertainments. You just step on the plane and you sit there for 3 to 4 hours on the plane, and you just like tank it. Zero distractions, zero anything. And they like almost framed it as almost like a sort of movement as well. And I'm like, man, everybody involved in this has no fucking idea what's going on. Like everybody involved in this situation is completely out of touch with everything. Like I'm pretty sure that the people interviewed, the people who wrote the article, are like out of touch with reality to some extent. Because let me tell you, I have been on more airplane flights than I can care to mention, and having to raw dog anything is dumb as hell. Like, given the choice, you would not do it. And I guess that speaks to the discipline of these people, of these alleged people who are like doing it as a lifestyle. But at the same time, why are you torturing yourself like that? That's really like it's not healthy for you. And like, yeah, check me out. I can like raw dog a flight. That's great, man. But like, are you like okay? What's going on in your life that you need this to be like the focal point of your human experience? That you were like in a community that was being interviewed for this kind of purpose. I don't know, like all of it is just so baffling to me as someone who just understands that being in an airplane is an inherently unpleasant experience. Yeah, it's one thing if you just sleep, but they're just gonna like stare at the wall for the entire flight, right? Like it's just very difficult for me to understand. And it's very and like the thing is that it was very much framed as like a gender thing, right? That like men were doing this specifically. And it's like, who are these guys? Let me talk to these. Let me talk some sense into these morons. Well, I guess at the end of the day, everybody is free to live their life as they like. But it's just like the way everything was framed that really threw me for a loop. Like it was framed as like this like whole discipline thing and like this whole like gender thing, and it's just like you're making such a weird thing to do even weirder just by like virtue of how you're presenting this information. I don't know. It's a weird thing to get mad about, but like I said, I've been on a lot of airplanes, so I have like some strong opinions on proper flight preparation etiquette. I do very much like that I've kind of turned into my dad when it comes to going to the airport. Like my dad was very much one of those people who kind of has his shit together on like a persistent basis. My dad is like a very put together person, and I like to think that I try to follow in his footsteps, but like it really jumps out whenever I'm at an airport. I'm like at the gate like 4 hours before I need to be there. I am like fully stocked up on like snack foods that I brought in from home. I'm like fucking prepared. I have like all my important documents in a very easy accessible and visible like zip bag. It's like a whole thing. Maybe I shouldn't have said that last part out loud. I don't know. I don't know if anybody is like planning to jump me during any flight experiences that I'm gonna have soon. I don't know. I might have just given the ops some some critical information, but I cannot see it being that serious. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. I think we're gonna go for some simple shading. We're kind of running a little bit past the clock here. So here we go. Simple cell shaded shadows. Yeah, just a little bit of shading as a treat. You do get extra points for even basic shading, so it's important to try to rack those up where you can. Yeah, gotta fight that art. Yeah, come out behind the death race if you want an ass kicking. Actually, I don't know. Does this work? No, not really. All right, maybe we get rid of this part here. Actually, what might help? Yeah, there we go. Damn, that art's got hands. Me, me when I'm actually drawing hands. God. I don't know. Okay, I need to shape up my art cultural knowledge because I don't know any paintings that have like a very high focus on the hands. I do know that there is a bronze print that focus on is on a pair of praying hands. I don't recall the name off the top of my head. I know it's got some crazy shading though. Hang on, praying hands copper print. Copper praying hands, copper art. Hang on. It's like a. Maybe it was like a bronze thing. Bronze print cross hatching. Hmm. Praying hands copper piece famous. Albrecht Dürer's praying hands. Here we go. Yeah, me when I'm viewing Albrecht Dürer's praying hands. Like these are really well shaded hands is a thing. A pen and ink drawing by the German printmaker, painter, and theorist Albrecht Dürer. The work is today stored at Albertina Museum in Vienna, Austria. Dürer created the drawing using the technique of white heightening and black ink on self-made blue-colored paper. The drawing shows a close-up of two male hands clasped together praying. The drawing used to be considered a sketch for a hands of an apostle, whose full picture was planned to occupy the central panel of the triptych installed in Frankfurt entitled Heller Altarpiece, which was destroyed in a fire in 1729. The sketched hands appear on the triptych on the right side of the central panel, and although the details appear very similar, it is smaller in size than the triptych. A more plausible theory of the drawing is that in its elaborate execution on precious blue paper, it is a rather virtuoso record of the hands in the painting, which Dürer could bring with him back from Italy to Nuremberg. Huh. Yeah, this is the triptych that they were talking about. And you can see it over here as well, but they write in that it is much smaller in this version of the triptych. Neat. All right, back to work. Okay. Or actually, no, that feels better. Then, okay. This part. Okay, then over here. Hang on. There we go. Okay, then over here. Let's add a little bit of this. Nope, no, let's not add that actually. Yeah, maybe like this. Okay, so the light is coming kind of like from over here. Let's go forward with that assumption. Also, I think this is the wrong color for this shading. Oh yeah, it would look way different. My fault. Wait, no, this wouldn't work. Alright, let's just paint it over. Okay, then over here we can add a couple of these for the pole. Huh. You know, come to think of it, even though Canada Day has come and gone, I didn't end up hearing any fireworks in the night. I don't know, maybe the pyrotechnics show was a little bit easier this year than on the other years. That's good though. Getting bothered getting bothered late in the night by a pyrotechnics display is kind of the worst. At least it's not as wild in the America, in like proper USA. Yeah, escape the curse for real. I've never had an experience where the neighbors were shooting fireworks too loudly. I guess they're a little bit difficult to get in this jurisdiction, so maybe that also plays a hand in it. Yeah, when I was, funnily enough, I did do actual research about like the pyrotechnics laws in my region for that one Ace Attorney parody. I found out that like rocket type pyrotechnics are just completely prohibited in Canada. You know, like those big ones that look like this. You can't use those in Canada because they have unpredictable flight paths and might accidentally cause a fire. So maybe just having like that as a deterrent is really useful for just avoiding the general noise of fireworks. Not to mention, I feel like most Canadians don't have the same kind of insane patriotic fervor that Americans do. We have like a weird different kind of I think they have a different kind of patriotic fervor. Like it's still present, but it's not the kind that makes you shoot fireworks. I think Canadian patriotic fervor just makes you eat poutine until you're passed out. With California, fireworks are like entirely banned outside of official things, but every year there will be plenty of people using their own personal fireworks anyway. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's how I figure it is for the United States. Is that like you're not supposed to have them, but if you have them, like it'll be kind of hard to stop you, and they have no way of proving that you're the guy that fired them. So the cops are not really going to care. They wouldn't care either way, I think, unless somebody's property got trashed. But even then, it's like I don't know. He says he didn't fire him. Well, fuck off, I guess. Yeah, no, I'm gonna avoid doing like the normal metallic shitting and just go for ordinary cell shitting down here. Yeah, the main thing is California catches on fire pretty easily, so that's why what the case is here. Yeah, yeah, I didn't even consider that, but yeah, that would make it pretty irresponsible. Jeez. Okay, then over here we're gonna have it like this. There we go. And over here we're gonna have this like this. Nope. Oh, that does give me an idea for how to shade the rest of it. There was one 4th of July when I was living with my dad where someone living up above us on the hills on the house was actually did start a minor fire with some of their fireworks. It was able to be put out before it really spread, but yeah, that's so dangerous. Oh my god. That must have been terrifying. I'm glad it was put out safely. But sheesh. I guess that's the kind of thing where you only need to learn that lesson once, but it'll be a very extensive lesson. Okay. There we go. Okay, then over here. Again, very simple for the cape. Cloak. Whichever one of these this qualifies as. I don't know. I think for the cape, it's supposed to be over your back, and for the cloak, it's supposed to go in front of you as well as backwards. So I think that technically makes this a cape. Well, I guess if you want to get really, really, really technical about it, it's just a jacket. But at the same time, a cape sounds cooler. Not to put disrespect on Edna Mode's name, but at the same time, I do enjoy myself a good cape now and again. It must be said. Okay. There we go. Capes are just pretty cool sometimes, is the thing, right? Like, I think the reason you don't like cape, if you don't like capes, I think the reason might be like you just haven't had a good cape. It's like oysters. Like if you haven't, unless you have a shellfish allergy, I guess. But if you haven't had like good oysters, you're not gonna like oysters. At least I think oysters are one of those things. I don't know. I feel like the fresh, like if you have bad oysters, that just kind of like puts you off of them permanently. Like I cannot imagine a person that has like bad oysters and is like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll give them another shot. Maybe I wasn't just giving them a fair shake. Because like I feel like when oysters are bad, they're like stomach destruction levels of bad. I can't get over this one Twitter comic that I saw recently where some dude was getting like, those like TikToks where it's like they were suddenly interviewing somebody in the street, except this was in heaven, and they were like, what are you looking forward to the most in heaven? And the dude is just like leaning into the mic and being like, I fuck with clouds heavy. And I'm like, I understand that guy. I 100% vibe with that guy. He passes the vibe check. Like I get you, man. Okay, then over here. I'm gonna shade the orange parts here, like, hang on. Yeah, just like a slightly darker orange color. Okay, I have an idea for how to handle this next part. Okay, brightness, darken. It's this part here. There we go. Need to be careful to not go over the edge, but this should work pretty well. I've made the horrible mistake recently of realizing that brioche buns or like brioche bread loaves are pretty great to make cheese sandwiches with. The problem is that I don't know a lot of places near where I live that have brioche, that really soft bread loaves. So the problem is like now I like demolish the entire loaf of brioche in like a day and a half, and then I'm like, man, I wish I had more brioche. I mean, I guess it's kind of a good problem to have, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I guess it's good that every once in a while my issues with self control catch up to me. It keeps me humble. But at the same time, I kind of wish I could like show more restraint with the brioche buns. Well, if you don't eat it, it's gonna go bad pretty soon. I feel like brioche is the kind of bread that it will go mega moldy if you don't eat it in like a day and a half. It's kind of like the strawberry of breads in that way. Okay, then over here, let's use this. Do not, my friends, become addicted to the brioche loaves. In time, you will resent its absence. Mad Max would be a very different film if instead of trying to vie for water, everything the post-apocalyptic wasteland try to fight for was like the last decent loaves of bread. Like if you're a baker, you have like a target on your head because you're definitely gonna get recruited into some warlord's private baker army. Yeah, we cannot survive without the brioche. Yeah. Fun fact. I remember reading somewhere that instead of it's often translated as "let them eat cake," but I think the actual word that the actual translation, like the actual thing that Marie Antoinette said, was "let them eat brioche," which was because like it makes a little bit more sense, right? Because like she's like, oh no, they wouldn't be able to eat cake. No, they just eat this super expensive roll of bread. The one that's like super hard to make and costs a lot of money to buy. Yeah, they would eat that one. I think I think it was brioche at least. I remember it not actually being cake. Hang on. Yeah, I know. Let them eat cake is the traditional translation of the French phrase "Quils mangent la brioche," said to have been spoken in the 18th century by a great princess upon being told that the presents had no bread. The French phrase mentions brioche, a bread enriched with butter and eggs, considered a luxury food. The quote is taken to reflect either the princess's frivolous disregard for the starving peasants or her poor understanding of their plight. Although the phrase is conventionally attributed to Marie Antoinette, it can actually be traced back to Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Confessions in 1765, 24 years before the French Revolution, when Antoinette was 9 years old and had never been to France. Huh. Damn, so my problem is kind of historical in a way. My issues my journey greatly resembles the pre-reign of terror French peasantry's issues. The pre-reign of terror French peasantry's journey is very similar to my own. Okay, then over here maybe? Yeah, that works. But yeah, crazy work to put the kimono Mimi ears on an object that character. I feel like we don't appreciate that as an option enough. Big respect to the artist for this one. I think there is a song floating around on YouTube. There's like a I don't remember who sang it. I think it might have actually been that Chokugakuse guy who sang a song that's like I want to be a kimono, which has a bunch of tiny little robots who wear furry animal ears. That's a very fun song as well. The craziest work of all in the regard of that song is that I think there at one point it was covered by a bunch of male furry VTubers, which I just think is fucking awesome. I don't know. I feel like I don't see enough of those guys, so maybe so it's nice that they got like something for themselves, you know. Okay, then over here. Okay. Then put this over here. This over here. At this here. Actually, we should probably get rid of this part here. This part of the shadows. Maybe take a little bit more off here. Yeah, like that. Okay, then this next trick. I think what might be a good idea is that in addition to. Hang on. Let's do this real quick. Okay, then over here. Okay. Got another little area over here. Okay, so my idea for this next part is that okay, we're basically almost done. We're just missing some stuff on the bandages here. Actually, let's do that first before I forget. But the idea is that I'll do something similar to the embroidery work on the jacket, but for that top bit of the hat, since it seems to also be deploying some embroidery work there. Okay, then over here we'll add some shadows for the crossbar. And this one needs shadows for like the big old dome head. Actually, I kind of want to add some shadows to the hand here too. Nope. There we go. There we go. Oh, hey, Leo, what's up? How you doing? How's your evening going? Are you doing all right? Are you enjoying your evening? You know, I just realized I forgot to tell you since I changed my name on Twitch. That's true. You're no longer soft rice milk. I hadn't even noticed this. I see you as sobbing pretty much everywhere else. It's hot as balls. Oh man, that sucks, dude. Yeah, I reckon over where near you live, it's probably really hot at night, even, right? Well, for you, it's probably around still like, yeah, it's probably like still like mid in the evening for you. So it's still the sun would probably still be up, but it's like, yeah, I don't imagine it's a particularly pleasant situation to be in, no matter the actual timing of it. Hang in there, bud. It's actually cold at night since I live in a desert. Ah, it's one of those kinds of situations, huh? The house just stays really warm. Well, I guess that kind of beats freezing to death in the middle of the night, but at the same time, that's gotta be tough too. Came here to ask a question. What's up? What do you need to ask? I'm an open book. All right, we have this thing here. So you see my username. I do. I see your username. It is within my sights. Do you feel like saying my name is sobbing or some sort of alternative? No, I would say it is sobbing. Although maybe it would be like sobbing underscore if I wanted to be like very formal with it. But yeah, I would read it as sobbing. I'm asking around because ever since I used my username, people have been calling me Sobby. That's weird. I can see why they would do that, right? Because like it I don't know, addressing somebody as sobbing feels also, if you don't know them very well, it would be a little bit off putting, but like if your username is sobbing and I had never seen you before, I would not immediately go to call you Sobby. That's weird. That sounds tough to deal with, dude. Like I, like if we had never talked before and you showed up as sobbing on my Twitch chat, I would call you sobbing. Like we do not know each other like that. All right, I think that should be this guy pretty much done. Pap's art. Yeah, people do call me Pap's art as a thing. I remember one time I got a YouTube comment where somebody called me Pabsy, and I'm like, whoa, Okay, hold on. Hold your horses, buddy. Yeah, no, don't call me that. I'm like, we are not that close, brother. I was not calling you, I was repeating it. Yeah. In disbelief? Yeah. I don't know. Since my name's just one syllable, it's kind of hard for me to be kind of like a pet name kind of guy, huh? Like it's already one syllable. It's not gonna get like it's not gonna be much more. It gets. Sometimes I say Papa. That's a different thing though. That's like a third secret thing. You're doing your own thing. That shows your independence and your willingness to buck the trends. Pabsy never crossed my mind. I feel like if somebody called me Pabsy, that's definitely like fighting words or something. I'm not cheap. Anyway, I'm going to open up one of the Hawk Starling pages because I remember I made a really cool effect in one of these that I feel would really work well for this one. Yeah, this one here. Okay, how do I... Okay, I need to merge these together. And I need to put them... Okay, we need to put these in a folder, and then I need to apply the mask to that folder. And then I need to like... Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, that looks nice. That being said... How's Artfire going, by the way? This is the first one I've done. This is a revenge for somebody who attacked me when I wasn't looking. I think it's going pretty well, honestly. I'm having fun. The people seem excited for it. I dare say it shall be a smashing hit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Art Fight this year. I am neither excited nor scared of it. I'm just gonna do it. I've also started one today. Nice! Alright. Oh, yeah, hang on. Duplicate this layer. Merge these layers. I kind of want to turn it to more like a reddish color. Also started one today. That's the spirit. Nice. Yeah. Does that give you any trouble? I know you remember. I remember you said you wanted to like try doing it without like uploading characters. Did it let you do that? Did it give you any kind of like backtalk? Are you gonna add some kind of text? I might add my signature, but otherwise, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is. Oh, but I am planning to add. Hang on, because it looked like it'd have some curved sound effects around the hand. Actually, hang on. Hang on. Oh, that's a little weird. Yeah, let's just let this part go out. So maybe instead of hand effects or like sound effects around the hand, what about like that phrase? It's like, "What? Please watch your step when you're boarding the vehicle." Like, hang on, train boarding safety message, travel tips, mind the gap. An audible or visual warning phrase used to issue to rail passengers. Okay, use in London, use worldwide. Other uses, Americas. Here we go. Maybe New York City area. As you leave the train, please watch over the gap between the train and the platform. Okay. That was a really good idea, by the way. Thank you. Okay, New Jersey Transit uses signs on doors on all trains that read, and an announcement that says, "When leaving the train, please watch the gap." That sounds like a good one. All right. What kind of font should we use for that, though? Calibri Bold should do it. Or Namala UI Bold, whatever. The circular text tool is still mega weird. Looks so good. Nice. Glad to hear it. Maybe we should put an exclamation mark at the end. This definitely feels like an exclamation mark kind of guy. Yeah. Good eye there, Leov. You really helped kick the piece up a notch. Thank you very much for your help. That being said, how do I'm just gonna assign it over like this. It's fine if it gets lost. It'll be attributed to me in any case, so I don't mind it too much. All right, I think that should do it for this one. Don't know why I can't do this for myself. Well, coaches don't always play. It's easy to see to have like a top side perspective on others' work because you're not like in there, right? Like I'm like looking at everything. I'm like really in there. You can't really take a step back when you've done a piece in one sitting like this. That's why it's really important to, if you have the time, leave a piece for a little while and come back to it. I don't always do that myself. Like I'm very much the kind of guy that are like, woohoo, it's finished, hit post. So I think it is useful to have like just an opportunity, either for you or someone else to be like, hey, wait a minute, does this seem right? Just like my high school essays. Did something similar happen with that? Hey, hold up, why is... There's like these weird bumps in certain places. That's weird. Well, whatever. It all seemed to work out. Yeah. I see. All right. Well, in any case, I think that should do it for today. They're like make a draft and then the final, then submit. My draft is my final paper. That's a mood though. I also did that. I like build stuff and then I just like started. I just delete what I don't need. Start a new part. Delete what I don't need. It's not the best way to go about it, but that's how it is. All right, but yeah, thank you to everybody who came by the stream. Special thanks to Cypress for the raid. I'll be back tomorrow, I think, actually, with another one of these. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with another one of these. Take it easy, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evenings. Later. Bye.